Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 24 of Around the Kingdom, a Disney Magic Kingdoms podcast by a guy who can't fly, even with a feather in his nose. Coming to you from the big top, I'm your host, Steve Squirrel, and this week, joining me for the first time, we have Daniel Guizar, admin of the Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions Facebook group and Kingdom Building Extraordinaire. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. It's so good to have you. You've been a long-awaited guest, and we are so looking forward to a long, fun show with you. Thanks to each and every one of you for joining us this week as we explore the wonderful world of Disney Magic Kingdoms. Before I get started, I want to give a big shout-out to our Patreons, Carrie Schumann, Anita Anderson, Kathy Clausen, Honeybee, and Kira. It's because of your continued support that we're able to do fun things like have giveaways like we had last week in our Facebook group and a lot more cool stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. We're really trying to make our first show goal, and we need your help. So if you're able to help support the show, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/AroundTheKingdom. Also, if you want to be more involved with the show, you can join our Facebook group or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and now YouTube. It's a good way to stay in touch with me and the community of the show. The links to everything will be in the show notes and can also be found on the show's main Facebook page. The Kingdom's always changing, so for reference, this show is being recorded on Tuesday, March 19th at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, we've got a lot to catch up on. It's been 2 weeks since the last show. It's the first time we've missed a week, so we have 2 weeks of stuff to catch up on. And oh man, do we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. So excited to get into it. So let's get right into it. Daniel, what have you been doing this week in your kingdom?
Well, as of right now, I've been leveling up characters for the most part because I'm pretty much caught up with the storyline with the exception of Dumbo.
Sure.
And I already welcomed the Ringmaster.
Oh wow! Awesome.
But I didn't use the gems. I used the bundle this time.
Oh yeah, of course. Listen, the bundles are usually the good way to go. And
by luck, I ended up getting the Western Arcade.
What? That's amazing. That's in the platinum chest, right? So did you have like a daily reward, or did you have one cooking?
No, I did it. I used it with gems. I did it a few times.
Whoa! Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna get it because I thought I was gonna. Wow, I'm gonna get a topiary, or I'm gonna get one of those, useless junk in the chest because I always buys those things.
Yeah, everyone needs more antlers, right?
And then I went and said, okay, I give up. And then I clicked on it. Beep. There it is.
That one looks amazing. I'm so excited to talk about that. We'll get a little bit more details into that later on the show. But awesome, that's great.
Yeah.
Anything else been going on this week, or is it just been leveling and doing that kind of stuff?
Well, rearranging my park. I unlocked the other land area, the new land slot.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I locked that area, so now I'm kind of trying to figure out to put everything in, but I think we'll get into that later on too.
Yeah, we sure will. If there's one person, one of two people I know that knows how to make everything work with the land, you are one of them. We're really excited to hear a little bit more about that. Cool. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've had an awesome week and an awesome 24 hours or 12 hours, since the new content's come out. So that's really cool. All right. So my week in the kingdom has been fun. For my main storyline, I've been saying for a couple of weeks I was holding back on welcoming Shere Khan and Wendy, and I was really working toward that 3 million magic plot of land, and I am really close. I have like 2,955,000 at this point, so I'm really close. But
you're doing really well.
Yeah, I'm really tempted though to start working on them now, since I want to get not only that.
Well, keep in mind, he is the one that takes you to Dumbo and all that other stuff.
Right. So I really want to get working toward that Peter Pan plot of land. I want to get working toward the new Dumbo content. It's kind of dangling in front of me now. And so the light at the tunnel is a little bit farther away. So we'll see what happens with that. I think that they'll be coming soon, though.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, I think Wendy is going to be my first, because Shere Khan, he's like a side quest. He's not a kingdom quest. So if I just get Wendy going, it's not like she's going to be super fast to welcome anyway.
No.
Yeah.
She took me about a few weeks, if I recall.
Yeah, she's a lot of tokens. So, all right. So I rearranged my park with the help of Daniel and, of course, Michael Nguyen. Their layouts they've posted, and make sure you check those out in the other Facebook groups, and they also post in our Facebook group as well. So make sure you check those designs out. But I was able to actually get all of my attractions down in my park. I mean, I had probably 7-8 things in storage, including the Kraken, which is gigantic. And so I was able to get every attraction down. It was really cool. Things were done thematically, which I really like. I was able to even put concessions kind of along with them. So it was a lot of fun. I hadn't rearranged my park in a long time. And so it's nice to have everything down there. And probably I'll be rearranging it again sometime soon, especially if I get some more land unlocked. See, for me, you know what I've always done is like every time like I rearrange it and then I unlock land, I just chuck a billion concessions in there. I just throw all those concessions that I have just sitting in storage, and I just use it as a farm for like a couple of weeks, and I just farm as much magic as I can. But it seems,
it's funny. It's funny that when the last time I did a farming was when I first started the game.
Yeah.
I remember that time when there was like a chunk of burger stands. I had all stacked up.
Yes, the burger farming. Yeah, I never went and did a full farming, but I definitely have seen many burger farms when I was first starting, and it was really good. It's a good way to earn the magic. So the other things, like you mentioned too, I was doing lots of leveling with the announcement of the upcoming balancing changes, which we will talk about in a little bit. I made sure to focus on Beauty and the Beast, Sleeping Beauty, and the Cinderella characters. I was also able to, I got bored kind of doing the same characters over, and when I'm leveling, I hate seeing characters that aren't doing anything. So I was also able to, in between, I was able to squeeze in some others along the way, including the mayor, Christopher Robin, Pooh, Sneezy, the Evil Queen, and I also worked on Aladdin because I thought we were going to need him. Turns out we don't, but I did work on him a little bit. And now I have someone else cooking, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So that's been it for my week for the most part. My lifetime visitors board, I am now at rank 125,924. I am so close to breaking into that top 125,000. I'm super excited to be going there. Daniel, when you get a chance, you should check and see what your rank is in your lifetime visitors board. Do you have any idea?
Like worldwide, you mean?
Yeah, like when you click on your visitors, it tells you like your rank.
I don't remember actually.
Yeah, you'll check on that. I'm very interested to hear what
I know I'm in the 79 million, I think.
Wow, that's a lot of visitors.
Yeah, like visitors, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, check that out for us because we're definitely interested to know. All right, okay. Cool. Well, that was our weeks in the kingdom. Let's keep moving along. This is the time of the show that we like to provide the newcomer tip of the week. And this week, Daniel, as our awesome guest and co-host, is going to do the honors with the tip of the week. Daniel, take it away.
Well, one of the things that is when you're placing your park and you're trying to place your layout and all that stuff, I guess one of the best things to do is, empty out the areas that you don't like. Like, say, for example, if you hated let's say, you had, like, the Nightmare Before Christmas in Frontierland and you hate it there, then remove it. And then try to place something that you might like and place it there. so it'll look thematically well. Because me personally, when I try to rearrange things, I get nitpicky. But that's just personal.
Sure.
This is the first thing because because I don't because here's the thing though, when you look at your layout, you kind of strategize because you want to see where things would actually work and which where it won't work. And the one of the things that works for me is just placing the rights first and then add decorations and concessions afterwards.
Okay.
That way, you don't have to worry about those later on.
Sure. No, that's a great newcomer tip. I definitely agree with that. I think that attractions are important because what people don't always realize is that characters have specific quests that tie into the attractions that they need the attractions for. So if you have them in storage, a lot of times there are quests that you can't do, which we actually will talk about in a feature report in a little bit. But yeah, it's very important to have your attractions out. Now, thank you for the newcomer tip of the week, but I want to expand on that. I want to get to know one of the things that we really wanted to have you on the show for, not just me, but all the audience out there, is because of your awesome park building skills. So I guess what gives you your inspiration to change an area? How do you keep things thematic? Like, what's your thought process when you're building a park and you're rearranging it and you're moving stuff around? Like, from just rearranging it when you just did recently, and also talk about maybe like when a new plot of land opens, like what's your strategy around that as well?
Well, it depends. I mean, for the most part, um, my inspiration for it would have to be the Disney parks. That's probably the one main inspiration of me doing the my whole park layout. I
Sure.
think that's the inspiration to it because I look at how things look in, like, say for example, Disneyland,
Right.
because that's where most of the times I go when I get the chance to go, and when I look at these things, I kind of strategize where I like to place things and where I don't like to place things. And I like Adventureland, for example. I like to place things that are like adventures, or Fantasyland, where the princess is, where you have all these other like Dumbo, Peter Pan, maybe. Try to
Sure.
keep it. I try to keep it placed in that theme.
Yeah.
But I
No.
mean, sometimes certain things will be out of place, which I despise that. I was like, oh, I don't like this area. I don't like this area.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's very it can be frustrating at times, especially with the lack of land. And last time I wasn't able to fit everything, unfortunately, because I like putting concessions and decorations. I know some people say, oh, but it's useless, it's worthless. But I mean, I like having it for the most part because it's nice to have in your park because otherwise they're just sitting there in your storage.
Sure. And if you're going to play a game, as much as everyone who listens to this podcast plays it, okay? Because no one who plays the game for 10 minutes a week is listening to this show, right?
Hmm.
You want to be able to look at it and enjoy looking at it, right? You want to be able
Right.
to have that experience of having your own park and having, all the stuff you want there and changing it around.
Hmm.
And I think that's given me some inspiration to kind of mess around with my park some more and decorate it and kind of enjoy it more than I currently do. But I also agree with you. Like I've been to Disney World. I go to Florida, the Florida one, because it's much easier
Right.
for me on my side of the coast here. And
Mm.
and but so like things that are all like Toy Story related. I want them all to be in the
All
appropriate.
together.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want them to be in Frontierland. I want them to be in the appropriate, in Tomorrowland, in the
In the
appropriate.
respective land.
Yeah, exactly. I want them to be thematically together. I like
Right.
all of the story pieces for each, obviously Alice in Wonderland stuff and all, each and stuff. I like them to be
Right.
grouped together. I don't like them all separated and around. But, you know,
Sometimes it's a good thing that they're separated. Sometimes
why? Tell me.
certain occasions it's okay because, like, say for example, Neon Stitch, for example. You know how you have the Stitch's Greatest Escape?
Yes.
and you have all the other thematic beach attractions.
Yes.
I have those two separated,
Ah,
and
that does make sense.
because for me personally, I know that Stitch's Greatest Escape is in Tomorrowland, the one in Magic Kingdom, right?
Yes.
And
No,
well,
no, it is in it
or
is
was
in it is in
was
Disney World as well. Yeah. Yes.
was there.
Yeah.
So that's sometimes there's advantages of doing it that way.
Yeah. No.
So in a way, I like the Slaughter Base. Slaughter Base, I don't have it. I have it with my Nightmare stuff
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
because it has a skeleton thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it kind of see. That's why I like to see what I mean. I like to play around with my cart because I know the more stuff you play, the more you play with it, the more creative you get with it.
Yeah. And I think that playing with it's hard because one of the problems too is that all your buildings need to be empty. You know, all your quests need to be done. So for me, the only time to really do that is in the morning. Like if I'm dedicated, like I know I'm going to rearrange my park today. I send everyone out at night. I clear everything in the morning, and then I know that I can rearrange my park. You know, but I can't just kind of in the middle of the day be like, I feel like rearranging my park now because people are all, you know, in buildings and stuff. So you have to plan for it.
Yeah, I think that's probably a tricky thing too, also. But I think one of the things to keep in mind too is to focus and pay attention on what how long your characters are going to be at. Let's say you send a character 24 hours by accident. Just wait the 24 hours until and don't send them a longer quest for the other characters.
Yeah.
Send them like maybe about 4 6 hours if you can't log in as often, because that's what some people most sometimes occasionally do. They'll put the character when the characters you know you can't send them every hour or every 2 hours. You just send them every 4 or 6 hours,
Sure.
depending on your schedule, I guess.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. It's nice to get some insight into how you do your building. I love it. It definitely inspired me to play around some more and move stuff around. For anyone listening or watching, if you have questions about rearranging your park at all or doing anything like that, make sure you hit Daniel up. We have all the links to hitting him up in various places in our show notes. And we also have the link to the group that he is an admin of called the Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions Group. It is on Facebook. It's a huge group. There's lots of people. It's very interactive, and Daniel's in there all the time, and he will always be happy to answer any questions you have about, you know, kingdom building or anything else about the game. So make sure you check him out. He is also in our Facebook group as well, the Around the Kingdom Facebook group. So he can also pop in there from time to time, and he can answer the questions. So make sure you check his group out. It's a really awesome group. All right, cool. Anything else before we move on, Daniel?
No.
Cool.
I
All
think
right.
pretty much good.
All right, we got a lot to talk about, so let's keep it moving. Let's get into the game news. All right, so we're going to try to keep this brief because it is kind of old news at this point, but I kind of like to just make sure we pick up where we left off. Since it has been 2 weeks since our last show, I was out last week, so I want to just do a little catch-up. During the last show, the last chapter of the Princess and the Frog event had just begun. So since then, Dr. Facilier was available to unlock. There was a Dr. Facilier bundle, which was him plus his hat stand for $9.99 US dollars. I did not get the bundle. I decided I was going to work for it this time. So I had the time available, so I worked for it. I got all the drops, which were his necklaces and ears. They were both epic, and it definitely took a while for me to complete. It was definitely, I think it took me about 2 days to get his drops, and you didn't need very many of them. I think it was only 7 of each.
I think it was like
yeah, so it wasn't many. And then when you completed it, once I did that, I bought his hat stand, which was available in the shop for 60 gems. So, Daniel, how did you do Dr. Facilier? Did you go with the bundle? Did you try to get the items?
bundle.
Bundle. That's the way to go.
Yeah. No, I did the bundle because, I mean, I would have done it the long way. I mean, getting it like that, and then I spend 60 just for the concession. But I decided to do the bundle way because for
Yeah,
And I
sure.
guess I guess I wanted to, since I'm always busy all the time. I guess you could say.
Sure.
I try not to stress about it. So I say, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna get the bundle and then just
And be
purchase it.
and be done with it. Yeah, especially that very last chapter is the stress chapter. I felt like this
Yeah.
was a pretty smooth going event, but when you get to that last chapter, it's you have the least amount of time and the most amount of stuff to do. So
How many currency did you end up with?
at the end, I didn't get the 80,000 that I had gotten in previous events. I think I had maybe about 45,000 currency at the end. I think 48. I think I got 24 gems. So yeah, so about 48. So yeah, did you max out at 40?
Actually, I went over 80,000.
Wow.
But the thing is, though, I ended up with 90 something thousand. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
The only reason why I got to it, keep in mind, I did not use the currency for the Tiana's Comfy costume and for Dr. Facilier. So it
Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
so because of that, that's why I got to that number.
Yeah. That makes a big
If it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have made it to 80,000.
Sure.
I think I would have made maybe 60,000 or something like that.
Sure. But that's cool. Bundles are awesome. I've bought just about everything that comes by bundle wise. I've gotten at some point or another. So cool. So that's the next thing we're going to talk about. The comfy fabric was then available once you got Dr. Facilier. And amazingly, now I'm going to say this again, amazingly, the drops for the fabric were rare. Only rare. And it was only a 1 hour task. Regardless, I mean, if I would have put money on the fact that they were legendary. And if you told me they weren't going to be legendary, I would have said, okay, well, it has to be epic. I would have never in a million years guessed they were rare. But regardless, they acted like they were legendary because they did not want to drop for me. Lucky enough.
That can be very frustrating.
Yeah.
Because you go one time and then nothing comes up. Especially if your happiness is up. That's the most frustrating part.
Yeah. And
I know it is very frustrating.
And sometimes you'll get like 6 drops in a row, and then you won't get anything for 2 days. Yeah.
It's a matter of, unfortunately, because sometimes, like for example, I think who was it that was legendary? Oh, it was Ariel. If I remember correctly, it was Ariel.
Her fins.
Because Ariel, when we had to get the mermaid costume at the time, her fabrics were all legendary. It was annoying.
Yeah, they were really, really, really hard to get. I think I got it within the last 2 hours. I really cut that one close.
Wow.
But luckily enough, on the last night of working towards the comfy fabric for this event, my kid wasn't sleeping, so every hour she was waking up. So I was able to check and complete my quest every hour, and I wound up getting all of the items, so I was able to finish the event. There was a bundle available for $4.99 US. It came with 40 gems. Daniel, got the bundle. Yes?
For which one?
For the comfy costume?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was just smooth sailing at the end.
Because I did say that I did get the costume also.
Yeah. Cool. So that was the end of the Princess and the Frog event. So, what do you think overall when you look back at the Princess and the Frog event? For a quick summary, what did you think of the event? How did you like the pacing? How did you like the content? Why don't we wrap that up real quick?
Well, I enjoyed it actually. It was probably one of my favorites actually. So, and I think it was pretty well paced, to be honest, because I don't think it was. You didn't have to be rushed with this one actually. The one I felt like was kind of felt rushed at times was I can't think of one right now, but I know there was one event that I was like, Oh, I know which one. The Incredibles. It was the
Oh,
Incredibles event, but
I,
that was the very first event.
right.
That was the
I
very
wasn't around back then, but
no.
I can imagine.
Thing is, around that event, I will say that it was not well paced. It was annoying because you know how you have to click on those tappers,
Hmm.
and then if you want to, you can gem it.
Sure.
At the time, you weren't able to. You
Wow.
had to for 2 hours, if
Wow.
not more.
Wow.
So it was kind of challenging, and I was kind of close to the Incredibles because I was at the time I wasn't doing any bundles or anything like that, and I was going for Syndrome. I think was the last one. His item drops were hard to get. They were like 15 each.
Wow. And
They were
were they epic?
yeah, I think they
Yeah,
were epic.
they're epic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were epic. But yeah, but I mean but I will say this though, every event that has gone by has gotten better though.
Yes.
So I mean, I was grateful that I've been able to finish all the events, and I haven't missed one. So that's a good thing because. But I mean, yeah, that one, the first one, was such a pain. So I
Yeah.
was like, but other than that, everything else was like, well paced for me.
I
I mean, certain, I mean, like the snow geese, and that was for Frozen though. So
Sure.
I don't know if you were for that one. So
No, I wasn't around for that either. But Princess and the
mm-hmm.
Frog for you was pretty good. You felt like it was the
Yeah,
best.
it was a fun event. Not gonna lie, especially Charlotte. That was the one that I was looking forward to.
Yeah,
Especially especially in the battle scene where she goes and then she sneaks up on her and then she punches him in the last
the battle scene was amazing. It was really,
it
really
was.
well done. I completely agree with you, Daniel. I think that I've only been playing for a much shorter period of time than you, but I've seen I started in Big Hero 6, and I've seen every event since then get a little more improvement and a little bit smoother with how they've handled it. They're not just copy and pasting; they're making sure that they do the little tweaks to make things better. While they certainly have added difficulty layers to other things like tower challenges, I feel like they've been pretty smooth with making sure that the events are accessible to everyone. From as long as you are playing the game for any period of time. I mean, and I will say you need the premium characters if you haven't been playing for a long time, but
No,
they
no.
make it accessible to just about everyone to get all the content.
Yeah.
I felt like the pacing for this event, and I feel like and I talk not just for myself, but the overwhelming consensus from the groups and from everyone that I've talked with is the pacing was amazing. They really had things going so that you felt like you were able to complete the tasks without feeling overly rushed.
Yeah.
It felt good. See, that's part of the thing too. Is how does the game make you feel, what's gonna want to make you play, and it felt good. The pacing was great. Even the pacing for the end was still pretty good. It was a little tight, but still didn't feel nearly as bad as other things. And overall, I think it was probably the smoothest event that I've played in. So I was very happy with it, and I hope that they just keep working to continue and improve upon that as well.
Yeah.
Any other things about Princess and Frog before we wrap that up? Move on.
No.
Cool. All right. So the Princess and the Frog event ended, and then we had a couple of days of silence, and everyone was like, I could start leveling my characters again, because a lot of people are hesitant to level characters during events. But we did have the list of characters you could level, but everyone kind of said, all right, event is over, start doing storyline, let's get moving.
Right.
Then we get a little bit of information from Disney Magic Kingdoms. A post on March 8th went up, and they decided that they were going to give us the information upon the upcoming balance changes that were going to be happening in the next patch, which actually was released today. So that's 11 days later. Now, when the Disney Magic Kingdom says balance changes, what they mean, in case you haven't been around for them, is that they are adjusting the number of tokens required by certain characters and individual storylines. The reason for that is that a lot of characters didn't require a lot of tokens. And they have some grandmaster plan, which no one knows about, but it's supposedly some major, huge game-changing event that is going to be coming up sometime in the future, TM. And we will have to wait and see what it is. But in order to do this, they need to have all the characters basically on the same level, of the same playing field for the number of required tokens, from everywhere from the common tokens to their individual tokens and ears. So by doing this, they are essentially increasing the number of tokens needed for storylines. They've been doing this for a little while now, and they will be continuing to do this. This is not the end, as they've mentioned many times, and they did in this post as well. This is not the end of these balancing changes. More are to come. So let's talk about this. So this time they made the effort to get this information out as soon as possible to give players a chance to work up on leveling these characters. This was a big problem earlier this year, and there was a lot of community backlash because they announced a round of balancing the day before the patch went live. This was for, I believe it was the Nightmare Before Christmas, when they got patched, and it was two other storylines, and they were getting used in the Tower Challenge the next day, and they were all getting hit by this balancing. Players were really upset. So Gameloft came back and said, "We hear you. We are sorry, and in the future we will try to get this information out to you sooner." So they gave us 11 days, which I think is a really big win for Gameloft and the community for making sure that they were heard, and for Gameloft for listening, as we got 11 days to work on the characters that we did not, or that were going to be affected by this balancing. So let's talk real quick about what the balancing that they announced was. So there's something interesting that they added. So we'll talk about chests for a second, which is something new. When you open a bronze chest, when dropping a common token, the bronze chest will now drop 2 tokens instead of 1. So for all the people who are getting grubs and carve-out tokens for the beast, you will get 2 of them instead of 1, but that's also because they're going to require a lot more to get. In silver chests, when dropping a common token, the silver chest will now drop 3 instead of 1, and when dropping an uncommon token, the silver chest will now drop 2 instead of 1. We had noticed a while ago how they had put like a ×1 little number next to certain things, and people always wondered, why is there a ×1 there? Well, here's our answer. They were putting that in, they were coded it in for this change that was going to happen where we get some more tokens. So this is kind of like a little bit of, I guess, like a Band-Aid on the wound for adding all these extra tokens, saying, okay, well, it's going to be a lot harder to get these tokens, but at least we'll try to make it a little bit faster with chests. Anything you want to talk about with the chest, Daniel?
Well, I think it's interesting how they're doing it, though, because all these balances and things, I think has to do with something that happened a while back. Because if my memory serves correctly, when the game first started, a lot of players would have finished the storyline like very quickly. Like they would be already caught up with everything. All they're doing is just collecting magic and stuff like that. So what I think happens is, I guess people are complaining that they're not getting enough, and I think that's the community's fault in a way. Yeah, I'll tell you why. See, the thing is, one of the reasons why I think is because they complain a lot, and DMK sees that. So when DMK sees that, what do? They change things. And then another thing to keep in mind, I think they increased the tokens so people won't finish quickly.
To slow down the overall progress of the game.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think they increase the tokens because they think that since people are finishing too quickly, I think they're going to slow them down with that.
So here's a question for you. So that makes sense to me for things like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, but it doesn't make sense for me when you talk about the other storylines that are not main storyline.
Like it,
Things like Beauty and the Beast or Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
mm-hmm. Right.
So
yeah, but
they claim it's part of a grand master plan. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It does make sense for slowing it down, though. I do agree that slowing it down is not a bad idea. But all right. We'll see about that.
Because I see all these balancing changes, but it does crack me up because it really doesn't affect me.
Sure.
Because a lot of these I already have maxed out, especially the Beauty and the Beast, and Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. That includes the Tremaines too.
Yeah. Brand new released characters.
Yeah, I have those characters maxed. They weren't hard actually, honestly, especially Lady Tremaine.
But they were harder. They required more tokens than, like, let's say the Snow White characters, or like a lot of the Snow White characters just need one per level. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to use Prince Philip in this example, but he went from like 6. I think he only needed 8 to get to max level. So those are ones that were really drastically off balance, if you want to talk about it. The Tremaines weren't too bad. But all right, let's talk about the activities, and we'll get to the tokens in a minute. So as part of the balancing changes, also some of the activities have changed, meaning that some character tasks have either been shortened or gotten longer. Some character activities have had what tokens they drop changed, and this is all kind of done to allow for a new character, like, for example, the new character being introduced, or with the Dumbo characters, or LeFou, excuse me, to be added in. So we're not going to get into all that stuff. If you're interested in seeing the changes, and there weren't a whole lot of them, I have a link in the show notes to the balancing patch notes, and all that information's in there. So that's it on activities. So we're not going to go into that because it's really not deep. All right, so now the stuff that we all want to talk about that we just started to get into. I just wanted to kind of brush over this. The character level up recipes. So the stories that we're getting balanced in this patch are Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, and Cinderella, including, as you mentioned, the new characters. I totally called Sleeping Beauty and Beauty and the Beast in previous shows because of the amount of tokens needed to level up the characters. Belle was a prime example of this. She was someone that I had been working on during the Princess and the Frog event, because she only needed one set of gloves and ears per level, so she only needed like 10 and 10 to get to level 10, which is not a lot of tokens comparatively when you look at things. So I same thing with the Sleeping Beauty. All of the characters, and I said, like, Prince Philip, for example, at level 9, he only needed 4 shields and 4 ears, and at level 10, to go to level 10, he only needed 6 and 6, which I mean, yes, the tasks are long, but I mean that's nothing. You're only getting 6 tokens. No. So when you look at the other classes, so these went from 4 that you needed to go to level 9, and you now need 30. 30, and to get to level 10, it went from 6 to 50. Okay, so those are huge balance changes. So when I go back and say the Tremaines, for example, they had like 22 or 25 or 27 of some of their tokens, so it wasn't that bad.
It was.
I'm sorry?
It was decent.
Yeah, it was decent, but it wasn't as heavy of an impact as things like, for example, Philip, or the fairies from Sleeping Beauty, or some of the characters from Beauty and the Beast. So
but as I said before, that the reason why they're going so drastic is so they won't finish right away. The
yes,
community itself. So that's why, because I see people complain on. Because if you go to their Facebook page, you see people complain. You know
sure,
how they complain all the time.
of course.
Ah, yeah. I mean, you should add more storyline. You should add more events. You should add more of this. It gets boring. You know, they take into consideration with all these things. And
Sure,
if you say something like "Be careful what you wish for," that's one way of saying. Because
sure.
if you're not careful what you because if you're not careful what you say, you might not like what you're gonna get.
No,
But the
yeah,
thing, you can't
sure.
please everybody though. That's the problem.
No, you can't please everybody. I've seen lots of you can't please everybody over the past few days. But no, I agree that some of the main character storyline stuff definitely is to slow down the game a little bit. And you got to remember when they design a game and where it is 3 years later, they weren't kind of planning for certain things. They might not have been planning for, people to be flying through it as quickly as they are. So that's why they make these changes to balance things. So so it doesn't impact people as much as like you, for example, who have most of their characters maxed out. But for people who like me, or that have been playing roughly, let's say, 8 months, a year, these are the people that are probably impacted the most. Even the newer players, they don't even really see it or feel it that much. But it's the people who kind of have everyone at like level 7, 6 or 7, where they're like, oh no, what's gonna happen.
Hmm.
So I spent a lot of time leveling these characters over the past 11 days, and I really, like, I was thinking to myself, oh, this isn't gonna be so bad. But you know what really hit me after I did the patch today was it wasn't really the amount of tokens that they needed, whether it's their token or their ears. What I didn't realize the impact of was the common shared token. For example, the spinning wheels for Sleeping Beauty. The amount of
Beauty.
it's the amount of spinning wheels you needed for Prince Philip went, which are the common shared token for everyone, went from 15 to get him to level 10 to 100. 100.
Wow.
And those are the ones that are like the 1 hour long quest that you just keep sending people out for. And
Yeah.
like, I was talking to a friend today about tokens, and I was like, the fun of the game is collecting tokens. Like, that's fun. Like, that's a fun part of the game, is going and hearing the token. It used to be when I first started, you would see the token kind of drop onto the screen. But you hear the sound of the token, you see it fly over to the corner. It feels good when you get a token. But these common tokens, they're so meh. Like the
Yeah.
rose for Beauty and the Beast, or the spinning wheels. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, I got another
One
4.
one thing to keep in mind, Steve, is that haven't you noticed that every time when we finish an event and you're about to max out those characters, haven't you noticed that all the common tokens are 100?
Yeah, yep. It goes
So
up a lot.
I think they're doing the same exact thing as the event characters, because I noticed that every time when you level up a character, the amount of tokens, the common ones especially, those are the ones that increase the most. And
Yes.
those take a while because you have to log in hourly,
Yes.
hourly, every single time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're gonna fall behind with those type of tokens, and you're gonna. I mean, it's kind of frustrating for me too, because I can't be always logging in all the time. So I try to go as much as I can
Yep.
with it, but it's not that simple.
No. Those ones take a long time to just keep accumulating over and over and over. And
Especially if you need tower events,
huh?
especially the tower challenges
Yeah.
when you're trying to upgrade those characters. But I think we'll get into those later. Though. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna go
Yep.
into them.
So that's it for the balancing changes that were announced. Um, any other thoughts on the balancing changes that you want to go over, or anything there?
Nope.
Cool. So here's what I have to say about that. Um, these balancing changes have occurred for other storylines in the past. They have just occurred now. And Disney Magic Kingdoms has been very open for the fact that these will continue to happen. And they will continue to happen until all of the stories are basically at the same level. What does that mean? That means that there are still a lot of stories that have not been balanced. So what I will say, these are my ones to watch out for. They are the ones that I think are the most severely, if you want to call it, unbalanced. And if you have these characters, I would suggest making sure you keep working on them now so that when the announcement comes, there's no big surprise. Big ones, Rapunzel characters. All the Rapunzel characters don't need many tokens per level. You really, if you have Mother Gothel, you want to plow down as many tokens as possible because they're legendary. So the last thing you want are legendary drops to increase for yourself. So work on your Rapunzel characters. Snow White.
It's more the beginning ones.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think it's all the beginning ones more that are going to get affected more.
It's going to be ones that, like all the new stuff that comes out, they're keeping in line with the patches. So, like, for example, like Princess and the Frog's not going to get balanced because they, were brought out there. No. So, yeah, so older sets. So, Rapunzel, Snow White. Definitely Snow White. You barely need any tokens for these characters. Get your Snow White characters maxed. Same thing with Winnie the Pooh. With the Winnie the Pooh characters, do not need many. So those are my ones to target. Also, someone else had put out, I think Morgan in our group had put out a list of all the ones that weren't there. I don't have that list on me, but my honorable mentions, I will say, would be Zootopia, Jungle Book, Incredibles, Frozen, and Mulan. Those are sets that you really want to look at too to keep working on because, again, a lot of those characters don't need a lot of things, especially the characters that are the villains, that have epic drops. You want to make sure you kind of get those done as soon as possible so that it's less work that you have to put in to get those done. So that's my list to watch out for. All right, so that is it for the balancing. So we had 11 days to work on the balancing. So during this time, we all knew something was coming up. We had talked 2 weeks ago that there was the calendar leak, and that the calendar leak showed that we were going to be getting a ruby chest. Or actually, I'm sorry, this is a magical chest. A magical chest on the 21st, which is 2 days from now. Then 5 days later, we were going to be getting a
radiant chest.
Radiant chest on the 26th. And then 5 days later, on the 31st, we were going to be getting a ruby chest.
Mm-hmm.
That smells like Tower Challenge to me. So we all speculated. Yeah, I think that everyone who had an idea suspected it. So we were all kind of keeping our eyes and ears open for it.
It's funny that you mentioned it because some people thought that maybe Dumbo was going to be the Tower Challenge. And I was like, I don't think so. No, because usually that's for event ones, not for the brand new ones. It's probably events that happened before.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Disney Magic Kingdoms has been changing things up a lot lately. By changing the way that Tower Challenges worked, by having the duo and triple and quad slots and all sorts of things. Like, it wouldn't surprise me, if they made the chapter 1, reward or whatever a character, and a chapter 2 reward a character, and then the final chapter. I could see them doing something like that just for fun, or just to change things up.
Right. They could do that.
Or I could see them. I could have seen them also doing something where the Tower Challenge, the final reward was a character from Dumbo. So there are lots of things that could have happened. But if in following how they've been doing permanent content releases, they've been coming alongside of Tower Challenges, just like the Lady Tremaine was, how they were released, and then the Pirates, how they were released alongside. So
The storylines that have been affected with Tower challenges were Bambi, Pirates. The only exception was Nightmare Before Christmas. Remember, with the mayor, that was the
oh
only one that didn't
yeah,
have a story
yeah,
added with,
yeah. There was no,
because that was the only one that didn't have a storyline
yeah,
included.
huh?
Everything else, every single Tower challenge that has come out has always included with storyline.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes you look forward to a Tower challenge a little bit more.
Exactly.
But
You know what? You know, one of the things that I hope they do. I mean, I don't know if it will ever happen, but I mean, what if they do 3 characters in a Tower challenges? One for chapter 1, one for chapter 2, one for chapter 3.
yeah, that would be awesome.
That, like, you know how they have Lock, Shock, and Barrel from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sure, yeah,
You can do Lock one, chapter 1, Shock chapter 2, and Barrel number chapter 3.
sure. Well, a lot of people
Or that.
like that for Dumbo. You know how they could have done that for Dumbo. That's what a lot of people were thinking might happen. But no, it makes perfect sense, and that's a really good point how you pointed out that they get really coincide. So that's what happened. So we were all kind of sitting and waiting. We were all leveling up our characters, and just kind of moving along. And then on Thursday, last Thursday, a teaser came out that showed a puzzle. And it was one of those like Magic Eye looking puzzles that after you solved it, showed a picture of a big top. And it had some blanks to fill in to go to a URL. And the URL was circus tent. So you had to fill in the blanks, and then you went to a site, and it had a short video, and it was a teaser with balloons and a circus big top opening. And at this point, yeah, and the hype train was on, and everyone knew that Dumbo was going to be coming to the kingdom.
Funny you mentioned that, because when I first saw that, it made me it reminded me of the pink elephants in a way.
Yeah,
They were like, you know how you have those hallucinations, stuff like that.
yeah,
That's what it reminded me of, and that's when I was like, before they even revealed that it was Dumbo, in the Magical Kingdom Champions group, I kind of posted a pink elephant where he was using this little lightning thing where he rubs his butt like that. You ever seen that?
yeah,
Elephant?
yeah.
I put that as like a taunt to the MK, saying, You're trying to make things difficult, and we already obviously knew what it was.
Yeah, yeah. So that happened, and then Friday, we got a message from Disney Magic Kingdoms to stay tuned for a trailer on Monday. They did make sure to announce that it was a trailer, and a video premiere and not a live stream. And they said, we hope to get back to our live streaming soon. There was a lot of confusion out in the community. People didn't really understand what was going on. They probably shouldn't have said, like, we'll get back to our live streaming soon. I think it confused a lot of people. But they did do a video release. The video was a little bit less than a minute long. So on Monday, we got the patch notes and a video. The patch notes came out about 11 a.m. Eastern time, and the video was set to premiere around 1. So we got the patch notes about 2 hours before the video premiered. So everyone kind of knew what was going on in the patch notes prior to the video coming out. So we were kind of hoping to see some gameplay or something of that nature. At least I was. But it was short, and it really was just it showed you the different characters that were going to be coming. It showed you a picture of the different attractions and concessions.
Right.
And that was really it. It just said, coming soon. So it was a little bit underwhelming, but at least we got a sneak peek at what things look like. But we already saw them in the patch notes. The patch notes had a picture that showed all of the attractions and the rides and stuff. So
it wasn't really a surprise per se.
No,
it was no surprise, actually, because when they said that they were gonna do a video on Monday, I sort of suspected it wasn't a live stream.
Right.
because live stream usually happens on a Friday,
Right.
and they usually happen Fridays, and then next week comes the the update,
Right.
and then the tower challenge or
Right.
event, vice versa.
Yeah. So in the format of how they do things, it just didn't make sense, which you're totally right. So anyway, so we got the patch notes. Patch notes came out. Everyone hit the hype train. Oh, and you know one thing first before I do that is that the video made no mention of the tower challenge. None. It didn't. Not a word.
Could it be that they just wanted to focus the storyline only?
Well, that's exactly what they did. They just focused on the
They
storyline.
just wanted to tease you.
But
I think that was their strategy. The strategy was to tease you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna give you this. We're gonna give you etc. 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 etc.
Right. Well,
so they always leave you with something.
Yes. Well, that's
I guess to like excite you a little more.
Yeah.
I think
it was good.
Suspense.
Yeah, it was good. No, so we were so we got a lot of that today. Today was when we got the Tower Challenge hype train going. But so Monday we got the Dumbo hype train going. We got the patch notes. So they said, basically, ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the fabulous Dumbo, the flying elephant. Join us in welcoming Timothy Q. Mouse, the Ringmaster, and Dumbo as you play through new permanent content storyline. So let's stop here for 1 second. Timothy Q. Mouse, the Ringmaster, and Dumbo. Any surprises from you? I was kind of surprised to see the Ringmaster.
I personally wasn't surprised that he came in, because I sort of figured he was going to be in, and I did suspect that he was Gems too.
Really?
I did suspect that he was Gems instead of Timothy, because some people thought that either Timothy or Dumbo was going to be Gems, and then then I thought about it and I was like, wait a minute, but what if they decide to use the Ringmaster's Gems and start off with Timothy and then Dumbo last?
Right.
Kind of like with Bambi. Think about it. Bambi, they only had Bambi and Thumper. They were the two main ones. Flower was the third one, and they put her as a premium character.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, I think it was suspected that it was him.
Yeah. Well, you hit it right on the head. I wasn't expecting the Ringmaster, but it's a very pleasant surprise. So it's pretty cool to have him as an option to get in the kingdom. All right, so
I will say 500 gems is a lot, though.
Yeah, 500 gems is a lot. We will talk about that in a little bit, and he will definitely be on an Is It Worth It segment. That's for sure. Stay tuned for that to come in a little while. But okay, so the next thing we got is LeFou will be joining the characters from the Beauty and the Beast in this update. But you'll have to contend with Maleficent if you want to add him to your collection. Okay. Do you love him? Do you hate him? What's your thoughts?
LeFou?
Yeah.
Well, I actually like LeFou. I actually think he's an interesting character.
Yes.
I mean, sure, he's dim-witted in front of Gaston,
right?
But he's not stupid either.
No.
But I mean, I personally like this character because I think he's more. I guess you could say he's loyal to Gaston.
Yeah.
Think about it. He's very loyal to.
I think it's going to be a really fun storyline for the Tower Challenge. I think he's a fun character, and I'm excited to have him join the kingdom. I think it's a great choice.
I think it was great.
And I think LeFou's brew better be one of the stands, or I'm going to be a very unhappy squirrel. I'll tell you that.
Don't we have that beer stand or whatever that is? We have like a beer stand, I think, from Beauty and the Beast.
We do.
I think we got during the Tower Challenge of the Halloween one.
Well, they better be there again if they already have it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think they brought that in. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. All right. So, one more, and they said one more thing. There will be more land. Everyone was excited. Like, this was like the highlight of the entire reel. Like, they were talking about more land. It's the only thing they have in capitals, next to Fabulous, is more land. So they said download the update March 19th, which is today. The Tower Challenge begins March 21st, which was no surprise according to the leaked calendar. So that is it. So that was the information we got. So we kind of knew what was going on. So the patch dropped today. It dropped actually first for the Kindle users, which was amazing because normally they are like six months behind everybody else. But they got their content first. Then Android hit early in the morning. iOS was much later in the afternoon. But everyone now has the patch.
That was crazy. The iOS was crazy because they usually get it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, no, it took a while for iOS. So all the iOS people were up in arms. Let me tell you, everyone's like, I didn't.
Hurry up! I need to do this.
Yeah. But everyone was super excited. So now we got our new content. So we got a lot of information on this new content. The first thing that we found out today is that the Dumbo storyline is actually the end game. It is the very, very last part of the storyline. They put it after all of the Peter Pan quests. So I think this is amazing. A lot of people are upset because they're like, oh no, I can't. What do you mean? You put this Dumbo content in and I can't access it. What's the, listen.
Yeah. People need to stop panicking.
People need to remember it's permanent content. But not just that, but it's like I had been saying for weeks and weeks on end on the show that I was kind of nervous / hesitant to start my Peter Pan storyline because I knew that it was the end of the road. I knew that when I was done with the Peter Pan storyline, it was it. I was done, and then I just had I had other things to do in the game, but my main storyline would be over, and that was kind of sad to me. And now at least I know that I can keep working on that and moving along and know that there's something else at the end. I think that it's great. I'm very happy they did it this way. And so, what about you, Daniel? Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't mind that Dumbo was towards the end because you know what? I understand people are frustrated and upset because they say, oh, but why do I need, but what is that I need to get the Peter Pan characters? I only have Tinkerbell because I was already seeing comments like that in my posts.
Right.
I was already seeing those. I was like seeing, like I say, oh, was say, I don't have this character. I don't have this character. What do I do? Just go through the storyline.
Keep playing.
That's the only way you're gonna get through this game.
We need to make a meme, okay, with Dory, and it just keep playing, just keep playing.
No, but there's like just keep swimming.
Yeah. So that's what you need to do. So that's what's going on. So let's talk about what you can get if you've gotten to this point. So Dumbo. Dumbo is a character that you will have to get by so let's fast forward a second. Timothy Q. Mouse. Timothy Q. Mouse is the first character that you get that you get to unlock when you trigger the Dumbo storyline to begin. At the same time, available is the Ringmaster for, like you said, 500 gems. That's a lot of gems. We've talked about it before. I think the only person that was 500 before him was King Louie. King Louie is 500 gems as well. King Louie, however, got a big yes for is he worth it? So we will find out about the Ringmaster and an is it worth it segment in probably a few months once we know a little bit more about him. The Ringmaster is also available for $9.99 US dollars, along with 100 gems. And so he's probably much better than 500 gems. He's a pretty much, if you're gonna get him with a bundle kind of guy. Or wait till Christmas. I was talking to one person in my group, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm not buying the bundle. It's the only premium character I have left. I'm just gonna wait till Christmas and get them in my sapphire chest." So there you go. Just
I understand people wait and see what happens, because they always are hesitant to buy the characters, and it's like, should I even bother? Should I even bother? But the thing is, the way how I think is just, I mean, I just get them because just in case if they're needed,
Yeah.
regardless if they're useless or not.
I like having all the characters too. So.
Yeah.
So
I'm completion.
Yes. Yes. Very much so. So Timothy Q. Mouse, you will then do some storyline, do some things. During the storyline, Dumbo the Flying Elephant which is one of the attractions, which we'll talk about. What I guess we'll talk about right now. It's just the classic Dumbo the Flying Elephant attraction that's been in Disney forever. And it will be a main storyline attraction. So as you progress with the Dumbo storyline, you will then eventually be tasked by Merlin to build this attraction. And then eventually you'll get Dumbo, as you work through the storyline. So there is that. So those are the characters. So before we move on, any last words about the characters or character selection that we had here?
I mean, I did expect all those characters. So, but I mean, it's great. It's great that we have this, anyways, because with this tower challenge coming in and everything, at least it'll keep you busy while you're doing the challenge.
Absolutely.
That's what I do. When I know there's a Kingdom Quest going on and then there's an event or I know some people would like to stop, put the storyline aside. You know how, because they say they want to focus on the event or tower challenge?
Yep.
But I do both at the same time, if I have the chance to.
Park building extraordinaire and multitasker, Daniel. All right.
I try.
So, all right. So we got the attraction. So like we talked about, the Dumbo the Flying Elephant is one of the attractions. It's the classic one you see where you have the Dumbos spinning around that go up and down. And so that's one of the attractions. Another one is the Barnstormer. The Barnstormer is a kid's roller coaster that's usually in the little kids section. I can't wait to bring my kid to ride on it this year. Here's the interesting thing. No one knows how we get this attraction. It is still an unknown right now. It is not a Merlin's Elixir attraction as of now. It is not, at least we were not told it's part of the storyline. It is not in a platinum chest. It is not in a gold chest. No one knows.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked on that one because unless the Barnstormer, unless they decide to do it like the Animation Academy, with the tapper thing.
Oh no,
I hope not.
Well, but that would be a while because there are no mini events during tower challenges.
No, it's probably gonna. Just keep in mind, when the Animation Academy came out, it was right after the tower challenge.
Yeah. Okay.
It was right after, because if you think about it, if it's not an elixirs, if it's not a platinum chest, I have a feeling it's gonna be a tapper thing, which I despise, by the way.
Yes.
Because when I tried to get the Animation Academy, it was the most difficult thing that I had to go through.
Well, wasn't the Animation Academy? Didn't it turn out to be a trophy event? Or
no, it's not a trophy. It was with the robots.
Oh, the robot! It was BattleBots. That's right, the BattleBots.
Remember that?
That was I don't even want to talk about that. It's bringing me PTSD from.
That's what I'm leaning towards, but I hope not. But I just have a feeling that's gonna happen.
Oh, interesting. Speaking of the Animation Academy, there is a big backlash about that, and they said that was going to be released again sometime soon, and we still haven't seen that again.
No, we have not.
So
I have it, but thankfully I have it. But I mean, I feel bad for others who don't have it.
I didn't get it. I wasn't even close. Yeah. I couldn't get. Those BattleBots didn't want to drop anything for me.
Those stupid things are just so stubborn.
Yeah. Well, it was also the drop rates were all messed. I mean, it was just a big mess. I don't even want to talk about BattleBots. Please don't get me started about BattleBots. Let's hope. Please, Barnstormer, please don't be in BattleBots because you're a really cool attraction. All right. let's
If
move
it
on.
is, make it
Let's move on. I feel my anxiety level increasing, so I want to just move on. The Western Arcade is another attraction that was added. This attraction is in the platinum chests, and I love this attraction. This is one of the things where I'm sure you've seen these in various places in Disney and whatever, where you get, you have like this Western background with cactuses and all sorts of stuff, and they all have little red targets on them. And you put some money into a machine, and you get a gun that shoots like a little laser or something, and you just have to try to hit the targets, and then it makes the targets like do something, like a can fly up in the air or something, bop down. I always loved playing this. I think it's really cool.
Play them, but I do see them at Disneyland. I do see them in Frontierland.
Yeah.
Where you hear all these special effects. You go,
ding bong. Yeah. Well, next time you're there, you have to play it, okay? And I want you to play it, and I want you to report back on your thoughts on how you liked it or not. But I always played this. I loved it. I'm excited to, and I really can't wait to see it in action. Friend of the show, Kathy Clausen, busted one open today in a platinum chest, and she posted it in the group. So I'm excited to see her put that up as well. And then you got one, right, Daniel? Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the show. So I want a video of this in action very soon, okay?
Yeah.
So that is in the platinum chest. So those are the attractions that we have. So very cool. So now we have some concession stands to talk about as part of this new patch. So one of the concessions we have is the Dumbo hat stand. Oh my God, is this adorable? Yes, if you're looking for a cute ears hat stand, this is definitely one of them.
There's also peanuts, right?
Yes, so then the next one is the peanut concession stand. The peanut concession stand, it basically looks just like the popcorn concession stand, but with peanuts on top.
It looks, you know what it looks like? It looks like caramel.
It does kind of.
No, if you look closely, it looks like if it looks like if it's caramel popcorn instead of peanuts, because the way how it's shaped and everything.
Right. Yeah. So that's the concession. The next thing that there is a slushy stand, which looks very similar to the soda and smoothie stands, but it has a slushy on top. And then there's the cup of tea stand, which just kind of stands out as a little bit different. And that stand is there too. So.
That's a chip.
Huh? What is it?
A chip stand.
A chip stand.
Yeah. Because I noticed the teacup and it looks like chip. Notice?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I have to take another look. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah. From now on, it will be known as the chip stand. So we don't have any of these concessions available yet. So do you think that at least 3 of these are going to be what are one with Tower Challenge rewards? Do you think that that's what's coming?
Probably the slushy stand. Okay. I do think the slushy is, because the slushy could probably be with Big Hero 6. Okay. That's just a guess.
Okay.
Which one of our rumored who are going to help out with the Tower Challenge.
Yes. Not rumored. It's confirmed, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, that's
so slushy stand. Okay. Well, we'll see. It's interesting to see how we're going to get these, because normally stands aren't acquired through storyline. So at least the Dumbo hat stand and the peanut concession stand would be 2 things like, how are we going to get these? I don't see them available in the featured section as with purchase for gems yet. So it's still up in the air how we're going to get these.
Maybe they'll add them later on in the platinum chest.
Yeah, that could be. We will have to see. All right, so...
Oh, hold on.
Yeah, sure.
One more thing.
Sure.
The parade float is in the gold chest, by the way.
It is in the gold chest. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Or you can purchase it for 50 gems.
Yes. So, yes, the parade float is available, like Daniel said, which is interesting because you don't need to be at the point where you can do the storyline to get the float, because I'm not at the Dumbo point yet. Like, I haven't even done Peter Pan, as I said, but I was able to get the float for 50 gems. But before I bought the float for 50 gems, there actually is a gold. So I'm sorry. So they are available in gold chests. There is a sale, which is interesting. It's a 1 per person sale for half off of the gold chests. So it's $1.99. Excuse me, for 6 chests.
That's actually not bad.
No, it's great. I absolutely took advantage of it. I had my daughter do it because my luck is terrible. But unfortunately, and I still don't have the Bambi float, ever elusive Bambi float. So I took a shot. I did not get either of the floats, but I did get the popcorn cart. So money well spent, and some decorations and some tokens. But yes,
I didn't go for the gold chest. I just went and bought it for 50 gems.
Yeah,
it seemed more easier that way for me.
Well, do you have anything left in the gold chest besides the Dumbo float? Do you still have the ever elusive Bambi float or anything else that you would need from them?
No, just decorations and concessions.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah, so
because I all the floats.
Yeah, I still need the Bambi float. I'll never get that stupid float. But
you'll get it
one of these days. It makes opening gold chests exciting. At least I still have something to look forward to in them.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, so then a couple of more decorations were introduced as well. There are 3 decorations. One is they choose your costume decoration, which basically looks like a long pole that spins around so you can arrange basically a person with different outfits on. I've seen it. But it's not available yet. I don't know where it, none of these decorations are available yet. My question is going to be, is it functional? Like, does it turn? Most decorations just sit there, right? Like this would be, I think it would be much cooler if it actually rotated and turned and stuff.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I don't remember decorations that move or anything. They just stand still.
Yeah. No. There was a rumor at the beginning of the Wreck-It Ralph event that the arcade stands would be interactive, that the kids would be able to go into the different games, but turned out they weren't able to. So, I mean, even if a kid can't interact with it, it would still be cool if it kind of just spun around.
Like it did something.
Right, because I don't know. So it actually is choosing a costume instead of just standing there looking like a totem pole.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, in the Snow White event, when they had the Snow White Scary Adventures attraction, the developer said that the kids were going to interact with that ride. Something was gonna pop up, but we never saw anything.
Huh.
So I was like, so what happened? Is there something that's gonna happen or what?
Right.
And nothing happened.
Huh. All right.
It's just weird.
Yeah, weird. Well, I hope that they do make them more interactive, because the interactive ones are some of the coolest parts of the game. All right, so then there's a circus banner also, which is a decoration. It's a banner with a D in the middle of it for Dumbo, circus-themed banner. And then finally, the Great Goofini Cannon, which is basically a large cannon with a powder keg and matches, big enough to shoot Goofy out of if you wanted to shoot Goofy out of a cannon. So those are the decorations there. The float. So we've talked about all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing that was in the notes that we got was more land. Yes, everyone's favorite topic, more land. So the land is going to be, it says you'll now be able to unlock Palm Bluffs, which they actually named the sections of land. I forgot about that, but they do. And it's located in between the Road to Adventure and the Golden Palace expansions in the Expedition Everest zone. It's that little block of land in between those 2 blocks of land that if you have all the land, it connects them.
Yeah.
But it's more land. It's a decent sized plot too, right?
Yeah, it's a good size actually. But you know what I noticed too when I opened that new land area? I noticed that the characters went through.
Oh, they walk all the way through.
Blocked off?
Yeah, sure.
They crossed through that bridge.
Oh, that's cool.
So that in a way, that's good because Like say for example, if you had a pirates character and they were on the other side, and their attraction was on the other side, they would have to run all around the park until they got there. And now that the area is open, they can go the short way.
Well, there you go. More information for our lazy characters that don't want to walk the long way around. They can now cut through.
Yeah, I noticed they do that. I noticed that a lot of characters do that.
So the land, everyone was saying, is this going to cost 4 million, 5 million, 150 million magic? What is it going to cost? Daniel, what did it cost you?
750,000.
750,000. That's not bad at all.
No, it's not.
Not bad at all.
But but here's the reason why it's not 4 million. I'll tell you why. The reason why it was not. Okay. The reason why it's not 4 million is because it's part of the main storyline.
Right.
And when it's not the main storyline, notice when the extra spaces that you see from Tomorrowland or Fantasyland, you know how they get to like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million?
Yes.
That means those plots of land are not required for the storyline. Those are more like side land spaces.
Right.
That are not required for the storyline, which is probably the reason why it didn't cost so much.
Yeah. No, I absolutely. And hey, that's great. Everyone who can get this land can get it at a price. The funny kind of thing about it when you think about it though is that the people that have been waiting for this land probably have the millions of magic that they can afford to spend on it. But no, it's good. It's a fair price. 750,000 is an absolute.
It's actually reasonable now that I think about it.
Yeah. So there you go. A new plot of land. People are very happy. But of course, there's more attractions that are coming for you to fit in your land. So I'm sure that Daniel will have an updated land map to share with everybody. Make sure you check out our Facebook group and Daniel's Facebook group. And always you can follow us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and on Facebook at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. All right. So that is what we had. So that's the information we have on Dumbo. Let's wrap it up. What are your thoughts on the Dumbo expansion? Things you like, things you didn't like. Anything you want to kind of sum up on that?
Well, really, there isn't anything I disliked about this update. It looks interesting, and I think it will be one of those to look forward to, because even if, like I said, even if you're not there, the important thing is you move on with your storyline.
Yep.
And just enjoy with it. Just go with it. Don't worry about what others have and what others don't have. Because I see like I'll say, oh, I want to get there. I want to get there. Don't fret. That's the only thing I can think of is just enjoy the storyline. Enjoy the dialogue. That's one thing I will say. Enjoy the dialogue that Disney Magic Kingdoms come up with, because they have pretty interesting dialogue. Like they would do like interactions with other characters. Like, say, for example, when Charlotte LaBeouf, she mentioned Prince Hans, and then Anna told her that he was a scumbag, a loser. Yeah. It was funny, though.
The dialogue, I think, is one of the most overlooked things that people have, where they just skip through it because they just want to move on. No, the dialogue is great. And you know what I didn't realize until actually I was watching Disney Girls videos was that when the dialogue is over, the two people are talking and the dialogue's over, and then it's just the person waiting to kind of get high-fived. There's a little piece of dialogue in the bottom left corner where they kind of make like a snarky little sarcastic remark. And it's great. It's like the best part of the dialogue, and so don't overlook that either. But no, I agree with you that the dialogue is a really awesome part of the game. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm not there yet, but I think everything looks awesome about the expansion. I think it's cool in a way that we don't really know. Like, we don't have everything. We don't have the decorations yet. We don't have any of the concessions yet. We don't know where one of the attractions is going to come from. If it comes from BattleBots, I'll probably cry for a month. You know, but at least, you know, they gave it to us, but they didn't throw it all to us at once. They're kind of going to tease it out. And that's cool. Good. Well done.
Before we move on, you didn't get the concession for the 3rd anniversary?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's move on into the Tower Challenge. So the Tower Challenge was, as I said, completely forgotten about in the video. No one wanted to talk about it. As a matter of fact, we only got a little bit of a teaser in the patch notes, saying that LeFou was going to be the character that we're going to get, but nothing else was really mentioned about it. So today we got some information. There was some leaking this morning from, well, not leaking, but some information given out from the Disney Magic Kingdom's Instagram page saying, let's like stuff. And it was what I call the Great Like Campaign, where they go out and they say, the more likes you get, the more stuff we're going to give you. So they decided they were going to show us the stuff. So at 5,000 likes today, we found out that the Chapter 1 Helper storyline is going to be Big Hero 6, which I definitely called was going to be involved in this Tower Challenge because they haven't been used before. Since they've come out and since their storyline has finished their event, they haven't been used. So I figured it was their time to be used. So Big Hero 6 is Chapter 1. After that, we found out that Chapter 2, at 10,000 likes, we found out that it was not going to be Aladdin like everyone thought, due to the information we got in the leak with the decoration, but Alice in Wonderland is going to be our Chapter 2 storyline helpers. And then Chapter 3 was no big surprise because, as always, it's the storyline of what you're going to get at the end. Beauty and the Beast is going to be your Chapter 3 helpers. We got that at 15,000 likes. Now, the final part of this campaign, which was similar to the last part of the last campaign, it was a mass gift. So the last time that they did this, they gave away one of the Disney Magic Kingdom's billboards, as well as 10 gems to everyone once they reached 20,000 likes. They did reach 20,000 likes before the airing of this show. As of now, I don't know if they finally got around to giving out that mass gift or if they're all sleeping at Gameloft and they're going to get to us in the morning. But we did earn the 20,000, so everyone will be getting something. The picture showed gems and elixirs in the picture, so that would be cool if everyone gets some gems and elixirs. So that's what we got there.
Get to that number of likes?
Yeah, we made it. It was 20,000. Yep, we made it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so everyone will get the mass gift, and we will see.
Look forward to I open the game.
Yes. So let's go through this real quick. Chapter 1, Big Hero 6. Now in the pictures of the Instagram reveals, the character that they show traditionally has always been the feature character or of the collection, meaning the character you're going to use for the entire event. That you can use continually free without having to refresh. So in this case, for Big Hero 6, Hero was the character. I'm pretty excited about this. They were my first event, so I was very excited to level them up. I have all my Big Hero 6 characters pretty high in level. Hero is actually at 8. He's going to 9 right now. He's in the middle of it. He'll be ready. He'll be at 9 in the morning. So I'm cool with Big Hero 6. What are your thoughts on them coming to the Tower Challenge?
I mean, I actually am surprised that they actually added the Big Hero 6 characters because they never been used or anything. But you never know what's gonna happen because they always add random characters that you don't expect. Yeah. Look at the last Tower Challenge. They added Wendy for crying out loud. They added Shark.
Yeah.
So it's no surprise, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, in a way, it's a surprise, but not really.
Yeah.
So it's like, and Big Hero 6, I have them all maxed out, so I don't have an issue with those characters. So
cool.
They were hard to max out, though. I will say that.
They were. Baymax was the guy who I always just kind of kept leveling him up because he never interfered with anyone else's drops. So and my Big Hero 6 guys just weren't doing anything else because I was worrying about everyone else. So I just let Baymax go because they would just collect his chips and collect his ears and collect his chips and do their thing. And I eventually just got him to 10. He was actually my first 10, I think, out of anyone I've ever got. So he was good, but I like them. I enjoy them. My daughter's favorite character is Honey Lemon, so I was pretty involved with her as well. So Chapter 2, Alice in Wonderland. They are back as the helper. The Mad Hatter was the picture on the reveal, so he most likely will be the featured character. What do you think about them bringing Alice back?
Actually, to me that's random. They were just random. It was random because I think, like I said, there's no surprise who they add and who they don't add because they could sneakily add something in there. Because I remember at the last event, the Princess and the Frog event, notice that they used the mayor to collect tokens for Eudora.
Yeah.
Which was weird. Because nobody expected him to be collecting the tokens for Eudora. And then that's why you level up all your characters. Because you never know who they're going to choose.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Alice felt very random. I agree. Don't really have much else to say on that. No. Chapter 3, Beauty and the Beast, was very expected once we knew who the end game was for the Tower Challenge. So Beast is the person that was featured in the Tower Challenge, so he's going to be the featured character. They were the featured character, not the last Tower Challenge, I think, but 2 Tower Challenges ago. They were Chapter 1.
Yes,
So they're returning. So once again, I expect to see those duo slots and the triple slots and the quad slots like we saw last time. I expect to see characters like Wendy and Shere Khan and all of them in those like quad slots. I think those were an awesome addition to the Tower Challenge because they had characters that were more moved along, but they also had earlier characters that you could focus on. So I'm kind of expecting the same. I'm not expecting any other surprises from this Tower Challenge. They didn't really talk about it much. There's been no notes about it.
To add in the patch notes, back to the balancing changes, you notice how. I'm sorry, there's a mosquito. Notice that in the balancing changes, that you know how they were mentioning Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, all those characters.
Right.
I feel like those will be involved with the Tower Challenge. It would not surprise me if they were added, including the Tremaines.
Sure. The Tremaines were used in the last Tower Challenge, which surprised everyone.
Probably had them up to level 6 last time, but now I have them maxed out, so that'll be much more useful for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not expecting anything. There was no mention of a comfy costume. So I think that it will be a little bit more relaxed than the last Tower Challenge that everyone was completely burnt out on. So I'm not really expecting any new surprises. So that's what we know for now. The Tower Challenge becomes live Thursday during a day change, whatever you want to call it. I need to find out what Gameloft calls it when the new day starts. I need that official term. So that is my thing. What do you call it, Daniel? When the new day comes and your reward, the reward for your rewards calendar, comes in, like, what do you call that?
I have no idea.
I call it day change. When like the next day begins in Disney Magic Kingdoms, but I don't know. Anyway, so that's when it becomes available on Thursday. Whew. Well, that was a lot to talk about. We are already an hour and a half into the podcast. This is probably one of the longest podcasts we have, but we haven't even wrapped up yet. So stick around. We're still going here. All right. So some other quick things to talk about. As Daniel mentioned, on the March 17th, the 3rd anniversary concession was available as the daily login reward. I hope you are all able to log in and get it. It's a one-day thing. They did bring them back during concession stand gate that happened a little while ago where you were able to purchase the first and second anniversary ones. So you might be able to purchase it sometime in the future, but this was your one chance to get it for now. Other news. We found out that the Japanese version of Disney Magic Kingdoms will finish service on May 30th. It is run by a company called Gung Ho. And over there, they've either lost their contract or someone decided they didn't want to do business with them anymore or something happened. But Disney Magic Kingdoms will no longer exist in Japan as of May 30th. There was some information about like dates of when like different things were going to start ending and different events and things. All that stuff was posted in by Teal, who's been a constant person we've talked about in the show as well, in the Disney Magic Kingdoms game group, with different theories about when things were going to end and different expansions were going to hit and different events. Nothing huge to really go over. There's no information on what was going to be in those events, so not much to really go over, but it's interesting that it's going to be ending. Don't really know much more about it, but fear not, it lives strong in the United States and abroad elsewhere. All right, and the other thing I wanted to mention was that I mentioned at the beginning of the show, the Around the Kingdom Facebook group has hit 200 members, and we wanted to do something special as a little celebration to celebrate our little tight-knit community. So we had, thank you, and so we had a giveaway for a gift card. The gift card was for $11. So basically, so you could buy a $10 bundle, and it covers the tax as well. So $11 for a gift card. And we played a game called Meanie Genie. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of community participation. And congrats to Megan Albrecht for winning. She's going to be purchasing the Ringmaster bundle with her gift card. So pretty awesome prize. And I want to give a big shout out also to our Patreons who helped make this possible. So yeah, so join our Facebook group. You can check us out at facebook.com/ATK podcast, and you will find the link to our group there. You can join our group and get all that information and join us and hang out with me, hang out with Daniel, and all the awesome people who are in our community. All right, so event of the week. There was no events of the week. Event of the week was leveling up your characters. No event of the week. And there will be no event of the week for the next 2 weeks because the events are taking place by the Tower Challenges. So nothing really going on there. We're not going to do Is It Worth It this week because we are just running really low on time. So next week we'll be back with a new Is It Worth It segment. We have lots of more attractions and people and characters and maybe costumes to talk about. So Is It Worth It is still going to be happening, but we'll talk about that more in another show. All right, let's keep it moving along. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report. Feature report is a segment where we talk about ideas or features we'd like to see implemented into the game. I'm going to go over a quick couple that we have from my group, and we're going to talk about some more in a second feature report kind of segment we have coming up in a little bit. But here we go. From Andrea. She said that we need a marker on characters who have side quests that would be triggered by having a certain attraction you have in storage out. So I totally get this. Actually, when I was rearranging my park just the other day, I had put out an attraction and suddenly Cricky popped up with a little exclamation point that he had a side quest to do from the attraction. So yeah, it would have been nice to know, either, on the attraction, like you could put a little exclamation point on it and where it could say something like, character has a quest, or I don't know how you could do it, but it would definitely be nice to know if there was some sort of interaction you were missing by not having a certain attraction out. So I think that's a really awesome feature idea. Now, if you're Daniel, it doesn't matter to you because you always have all your attractions out. But for most people who can't store
right now.
except right now, but if for most people who don't have all their attractions or the space or whatever, it would be nice to know. Like I said, it just happened to me the other day, and I completely agree. I think it would be a good idea to have that notated. Something like like when a character, huh?
Like knowing which ride they need to use for the task, you mean?
Yeah, or something like, when you have a character home and then you level someone up and you go into home and it says like collects tokens, so like bring that character out from home. Like if like when you were looking at your attractions in storage, like it would be cool if there was a little thing on this that says like has character task or has a task or has side quest or has a something like that. So put that out in the park so that you can do your side quest.
What you need to use.
Yeah.
So okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so I think that's a cool idea. Thank you, Andrea. I think that's an awesome idea. So in keeping with the theme of park layouts, the next feature report is from me. Yes, I'm doing my own feature report. I think it would be an awesome idea to be able to copy and paste people's park layouts. Right? Now hear me out, right? So I play another game. I've referenced it a lot. I play another game called Hearthstone. And recently what they've done is they've made it easy where people have different decks in the game. You can just send a code over to someone. It's a big, long hash. And you send it over to someone and they can copy it. And then it will automatically import into the game. And there you go. You have your friend's deck. You can play with it. You can try it out. Have fun, right? So I think it would be cool like if I was able to I build my own park. I used, your advice, but like everyone has their own park. They build their own park, right? But I think it would be fun to since there's no more social aspect, you can't go into Facebook, you can't see your other people's parks anymore. Unless people are taking videos of them and posting them on social media, right? It would be cool if I could hit copy park and then send you in Facebook Messenger a little code. And then you could pull everything out of your park, all your decorations, all your concessions, everything, and then hit paste, and boom, it populates my park. So you could see my park, my trophies, if you don't have certain things, you'd have to figure out if you didn't have certain things, like certain trophies or how that would work. But I think it would be cool to see people's layouts. Maybe it just does attractions or things, and if they don't have it there, then it's just a blank space. But
it looks interesting.
Yeah, and then because everyone builds parks their own way, right? You might have friends that don't care about grouping things together, and they just like a big giant mishmash of stuff, right? Or you might have people that are concession people, where they want all their concessions in certain areas, and this way it just gives you the ability to rip your park up, put someone else's park in, and see it, And when you have communities that are always talking and interacting with each other, I think like check out my park thread would be cool. Like Disney Magic Kingdoms used to have the park of the month, right? Didn't you win that one month?
I was the very first one.
Yeah, right. So they used to do that, and they don't do that anymore. So not only you don't get to see new parks from being highlighted from Disney Magic Kingdoms, but now it's hard to for people to take the time to take videos, post them in groups. I think it would be a really cool idea to copy and paste park layouts.
I mean, it does sound interesting now that I think about it. But sometimes, copying someone else's layout sometimes doesn't hurt using. But sometimes, and I don't mind if other people copy my layout, for example. But sometimes I kind of think about it and I'm like, they should come up with their own ideas, so that way they could be more creative. Remember how I said they could be more creative with their parks?
Sure.
That way it won't look exactly the same.
No, listen, yes, but there's always going to be people that are just going to copy exactly what you do, and it's just going to take them an hour from looking at each individual area of your park and just copying it, right? So rather than them taking an hour and wasting an hour of their time, they could just copy and paste it. But wouldn't it be cool if I built a park and I was like, Daniel, check it out. I totally did something cool. Here you go. And I copy it and I paste it to you, right? And then, but I say to you, listen, I'm having a really hard time fitting the Kraken in there. Can you figure out some way that I can move stuff around and keep this, but fit the Kraken in? And then you're like, cool, let me work on it. And then you work on it. You're like, oh, I fit it in right here. I had to do this. And then you can paste it and send it back to me. And I could put it, you know, I mean, it's like you can help people with park layouts. And
I see what you're saying.
I think there's a lot of social type stuff that you could do with seeing other people's parks and just having that interaction, you know? It's not just for stealing someone's idea and being lazy, which is going to happen anyway, right? But, you know, I just think it would be a fun idea. Anyway, that's what it is. That's Feature Report. If you have a feature you'd like to see implemented, please write in and using any of our various social media platforms and let us know. Your idea could be on next week's show. All right, so now we're going to go around the community. I just want to say Tom Wright, the Around the Kingdom's official concept designer, for new content, has brought a few things to us, and he's got a few things brewing right now. But for the sake of time this week, we're going to have to hold off. I do want to, however, give him a huge shout out for this week for doing the graphic design for the Meanie Genie event giveaway. In our Facebook group, he whipped that up real quick, and I just want to give him a big shout out. Thank you so much for doing that for me and for the group. All right, so now we normally do community questions here, and Elliot, a good friend and fan of the show, had asked how you come up with the different ways that you arrange your park, but we talked about that earlier in the show. So now I want to change this around, and we're going to call this the Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions Chatter section. This is where Daniel's going to, he brought up that he's going to be on the show, and a lot of people had some either feature reports or ideas. So we want to just kind of highlight them now. So Daniel, take it away.
Okay. So one of the feature reports from the Magical Champions. This is from Brandon John Tembas. I can't pronounce the last name. He said a return all feature button for characters visiting home would make it easier at the beginning of the events to find the ones that give currency.
Yeah.
He said that there's a return all option. Actually, that's not a bad idea, especially if you send them home. Especially if you send a lot of them.
Yeah. No,
imagine one by one sending. And I'm pretty sure you've experienced that, right?
Well, I actually just did it the other day because I had about half my characters home, but I've been trying to earn as much currency as possible, not just as much magic potions, because I'm really trekking toward that 3 million plot of land. So I pulled everyone out of home, even Maximus, who's terrible. I pulled them all out of home just so I could earn as much money, and I literally had to go through return, yes, return, yes, return, yes, return, yes. But here's the thing, let's take that one step farther. I'd love a return all button. I'd like a send all button, right? Just like now how like with the Kingdom Builder, they have like remove all decorations, remove all things. Like I'd love a button that says like send all, and it sends anyone who's not currently in an activity, sends them all home. Because going through and then finding the book, sometimes it's on the top if they're level 10. Sometimes you have to scroll to the bottom. Sometimes it's in the middle of quests or things, right? So like if you could just send everyone that's not, home, that would be a cool feature too.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
You know how you can solve Maximus' problem?
Tell me how to solve the Maximus problem.
Send them 12 hours with Flynn Rider.
But the math on it, right? And I've done this. People say this to me all the time. The math on it, it's like they earn like about 10 more magic, and I'd rather just not look at them, right? Like for the same amount of time, I could send Flynn by himself for 12 hours, plus the magic earned from Maximus at home for 12 hours, and it's like barely any difference because Maximus is that terrible. So I'd rather just leave him at home. But no, he's actually out. The Maximus problem will exist forever until he gets a longer solo quest.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, let's move on. What's the next person from your group have?
Okay. This is from Jessica Smith. She said, it would be awesome if we could still click on the group item to send characters away to get more from a group, even if a character has enough to level up. example, Naveen has 70 gumbos but can't click. You know how, like, for example, you know how you get all those comment tokens from certain characters,
Sure.
and when you want to click on it and select the character, you can't because it already has the little check, the green check.
Yes.
She hopes that one of these days that we would be able to still click on it
Yes.
and still do that.
Yes. No, I totally agree. I think that even when a character is complete, you should still be able to click on it and see the characters that can do it. I also think to even go another step further on that, when a character is leveling, you can't see on the side. You know, like you should still be able to see on the side.
That was another thing I wanted to mention. She also mentioned that when they level up a character, like say if a character is going to go from 6 to 7,
Right.
you can't see the character requirements.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So you not only can't you see them, but you can't interact with them. You can't touch them. You can't,
No.
and that's annoying because that's 8 hours that you're trying to figure out stuff, and it's just like, why make that go away, right?
Right.
So yeah, I totally agree. Completely agree. That's awesome stuff. Good stuff. Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Cool. Well, thank you, Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions chatter. I know there was a lot of stuff people were just talking. I hope that you guys are all enjoying the show. By all means, you can always write in to us at the show at ATK Podcast on Twitter or on our Facebook page. You can always suggest feature reports, ask questions. Would love to have them on the show. Yeah, it'd just be great. This show is founded to be a community-based show for the community, and I really try to do that. So for all the new people listening, we'd love to have you as part of the community as well. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Awesome. All right. Well, we're starting to get toward the end of the show here. Let's talk about some other things that happened around the kingdom. We're going to talk about the last 2 weeks. The Rose Stand bundle was available for Mother's Day, which was celebrated in other parts of the world. The Rose Stand was available for the stand plus 40 gems for $1.99 or 60 gems for just the stand. The St. Patrick's Day just was around the corner. St. Patrick's Day stand was only available for 50 gems, and it gave you 50 happiness. What? 50 happiness? That could bring you from like the saddest kids in the world to totally happy forever. But yeah, it was 50 gems. I definitely got mine this year, so I was very happy about that. The Cotton Candy cart has been available for 60 gems, so you can go purchase that. And then the Incredibles were back for the usual price of $9.99 for a 6-pack, or 6 gems each. Then the Nightmare Before Christmas chests were available just until the other day. And now Frozen chests are now available for the usual price. So you can get those now. And then we mentioned before the gold chests are on sale. One bundle per person. So they're $1.99 for a 6-pack of chests. So you can go ahead and get those. And that's it. So we got 4 new 5-star ratings. So thank you to the 4 people who added on to the 5-star ratings. We did not have any new 5-star reviews. This is the section where I normally read those. But thank you so much for the ratings. All right, so shout-outs. My shout-out this week, my few shout-outs go. First one is to Maria Land. Thank you so much for being this week's Spotlight contributor to our group. You've really, it's been really awesome having you in the group. You've really been sharing and talking and contributing a lot. So thank you so much, Maria. It's been great having you so far. Shout out to Tom Wright once again for the last-minute graphic design, and then shout out to Allison, my co-moderator admin of the group, for the idea for the group game. She was the one who came up with the Meanie Genie. And it was so much fun, so I just wanted to give her a big shout-out for that. Daniel, any shout-outs for you?
My shout-out is to all my to the Disney Magical Kingdoms Champions group. You all been great with me, and you'll always be there to help me out. Oh, sorry. Uh, that I said that I always appreciate all of the champions group always giving me positive feedback, never giving me Well, I mean, I guess there's some negative here and there, but I mean, for the most part, it's mainly positive, and I appreciate that because and I do appreciate people asking me questions whenever they need help. So it does in a way help the community also because it's, aside from me answering questions, everybody else does their best to answer the questions. So I do appreciate everything. I do appreciate the love and support and everything.
Awesome, cool. Yeah, it's a great group. Definitely, guys, check it out. The link to the group will be in the show notes. And yeah, thanks to everyone in the group for making sure that Daniel feels loved. And yep, the haters are gonna hate. So, all right,
Can do.
next week's show, Kathy Clausen joins me for our first in-person show. She is a close friend of mine that lives close. So we're going to have an in-person show. I lured her into playing the game. She's a huge Disney fan, and she's totally, infatuated with the game now. It's all my fault. She's going to actually be here in the studio, aka my basement. So we're going to do it together in the same room. It's going to be a really fun experience. I'm really looking forward to it. That will be next Wednesday, so make sure you check it out. We'll be talking all about the Tower Challenge and send any new Dumbo information that we have. Cool.
Well, if fun with that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, if you want to be more involved with the show, you can follow us on Twitter at ATK Podcast and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/ATK Podcast. Here you'll find out before anyone else about any breaking news that we hear, information on contests and giveaways, when new shows are published, and of course my ramblings and photos from my day-to-day playing. The show's Facebook group is up, and it's a great way to easily interact with me and other fans of the show to talk about our favorite game. The link to our group will be in the show notes, and it can also be found on our show's main Facebook page. Also, you can write into the show. Our email address is aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Again, that's aroundthekingdompodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show, what's working, what's terrible, if you're one of those haters, or any other topic that you want to write in about, or even if you just want to write to say hi. We're now on YouTube. If you want to watch the show and see me and my awesome guests, please head on over, subscribe to our channel, like the video, and smash the bell to get notified when a new show goes live. The link to our channel will be in the show notes. If you want to help support the show, please head on over to iTunes, subscribe to the podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Doing this is quick and easy, costs you nothing, but helps us greatly to be seen by other people so they can enjoy the show also. All 5-star reviews will be read at the end of each episode. Listening to the show is all we could really ask for, but if you do want to help support us in another way, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. We are halfway towards our first goal, and that will really help the production of the show. It's a great way to show your support for about $1 an episode. All Patreons will get a special shout out at the beginning of each episode. Again, it's patreon.com/aroundthekingdom. The link will be in the show notes. Thank you again for joining us this week. I am Steve Squirrel. For myself and Daniel, we hope you have a great night, and we will see you around the kingdom next week.
All right. Good night.